that's your setup, because they're your hands. Just come on in and whatever throw you want. You're going to be doing Taiotoshi. You can say Nai, Uchimata, pretty much any throw, but it's just a real basic entry, but it's one of the many entries into like Sukuri, the Sukuri phase of the building phase of the throw. So push and pop them back up down. That's it. Push and pop them back up down. That's it. Okay, and that's it. That's it. It's just oikomi, and that's it means like a push into it, push it. I just call it pop and throw. That's all. So you just change your direction, forward to my forward and then to my back. So here and I spin. That's oikomi. So he just pushes and goes. We're going to work on it's a real basic entry, and you say, well, I've done this. Because it's pretty standard stuff, and it's called oikomi, which means to kind of push into somebody or to thrust into, drive into somebody, and it's basically like your hands are like shock absorbers. You're gonna push the guy, and as he resists, you're gonna push him and pop. And so you probably just take one step, push, and as you push, you pop him, pull him back by back. It's like a punch almost, And then when you do that, that's your setup because they're your hands. Just come on in and whatever throw you want. You're gonna be doing Taiotoshi. You can say Nai, Uchimata. Pretty much any throw, but it's just a real basic entry, but it's one of the many entries into like Sukuri, the Sukuri phase of the building phase of the throw. So after the balance is the movement, the breaking is balance, and then breaking is posture, and the setup is this. So it's a real quick setup, it's kind of flows. Can you do it? So he just pushes and goes. The key thing here is when you do this, you want to really, as soon as you push, boom, it's just like a shock absorber. You could pop, explode back up. Good. A good way to do that, and now if you're so inclined to use this hand on like a Taiotoshi or any type of throw, you probably got a better shot at doing it because you can push and then jerk it back up. It's almost like push and jerk them back in. When you're grabbing this way, because I'm tall, what I would do, I would push like this. See my hands like this? So I step to push and then pull in like that. So that's what he's doing. You can't quite see it. Can you do that one more time? So he's pushing and he's pulling. Right? That pull. That's it. So it's like a boom hit. And that's all it is. It's very simple. And, it's push and pop them back up down. That's it. Okay, and that's it. That's it. It's just oikomi. And that's it means like a push into it, push it. I just call it pop and throw. That's all. So you just change your direction, forward to my forward and then to my back. So here and I spin. That's oikomi. Give it a try. Let's go get them. Yeah. Okay, here's the drill. It's a good moving uchikomi drill. It's pretty standard stuff. Let's call it the four-way uchikomi drill. What Derek's going to do, and I'll explain it now, and I'm going to have him do it here in a minute. He's going to move Eric back, and he's going to pop him up, and he's going to fit it. Okay, good. And he grabs him again. He's going to move backward, And he's going to pop up. So, and we're using Shainagi because it's a good one to get into. So he's going to go left, step one left, step left. Boom, come on out, and step one, step right. And then it will be Eric's turn, okay? So let's do a little more speed into it. Let's do some more speed into it. Okay, so it's forward. Okay, good. And backward. Okay. And left. And right. And that's it. You get to do it on your hand. Go ahead. So what we'll do is back and forth. We'll go about 10 rounds of that, okay? And it's great for moving, and pick a throw you like. Shainagi is a good one to start with. Okay. And then one backward. Shainagi. Okay. And go to the left. And there you go. And come back to the right. That's your four-way drill. Not a hard drill. It's a good timing drill, good skill drill. You can go as fast or slow as you want to. Okay? Push and pop them back up down. That's it. Okay, and that's it. That's it. It's just oikomi, and that's it means like a push into it, push it. I just call it pop and throw. That's all. So you just change your direction, forward to my forward and then my back. So here and I spin. That's oikomi. Watch that back step. See that back step? Now, as that back step comes in, he starts to lift with the hands. He's pulling. Okay, so now he's controlling with his upper body. Now, all this action will help him be able to turn his hips very quickly. All right, guys, here's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on a very basic thing that what we want to do is shave some time off your throw. We want to get more movement, more effective movement in your forward throwing techniques. And my goal is this. Just stand. Sure. My goal is this. I want to make sure I can turn my hips as quickly as possible. That's my goal here. So to make my hips turn, I have to manipulate my feet so they'll be able to turn my hips and turn my body, right? And at the same time, I'll be using my hand. And we're going to do something, it's very old, and it's called a fumikomi, or stomping step, okay? It's a back step. So what it'll look like is I'm facing this way, and I'm kind of leading off. There's my partner. There's Derek right there. And it's a back step into it. See that back step? Now, the quicker I can do this back step here, see on the toes, and then quickly turn, I turn my hips. If I take a really long time to just do this, he's already gone. I've got to be able to turn my hips and get in front of him so I can load him up for a Shainagi or a hip throw or a Taiotoshi or Chimata, whatever it may be. But this fumikomi action is really an important one. And if I get this back step, okay, if I can get this and quickly turn, and it's not two movements like Derek and I were talking about. It's not me coming in and doing, just like stomp and stomp. It's really kind of one move, back step, and look, see, and then back step and turn. But I've got to get my hips in front of them quickly. Can you do that? And it'll end in any forward throw. Now let's parse that out. So he's leading, he's sugar-footing here, leading here. With his back leg, he's just going to step out. Okay, let's turn around so we can get this view. Keep turning for me, guys. There you go. Now watch that back step. See that back step? Now, as that back step comes in, he starts to lift with the hands. He's pulling. Okay, so now he's controlling with his upper body. Now, all this action will help him be able to turn his hips very quickly. The quicker I can turn those hips, the quicker I'm going to turn my arm. Okay, so let's look at it again. He back steps, and he turns quickly. Now let's put it together. Okay, back step, very quick turn. See that? And the quicker you can turn, the better. Now let's think, can you turn into a Taiotoshi? Okay, so he turns into a Taiotoshi. There you go. What we want to do is shave that time off getting into that Taiotoshi. I don't want him to be able to see anything other than a blur on your feet, because if you can get that back step, that fumikomi, okay? If you get that, quick turn, and you've got to have that first, and then you can launch him with whatever forward technique you want. And it's one of those really subtle but really important things we do in throwing someone forward over our bodies. Okay? Can you do it one more time? Watch the, and turn on so you see it. Watch his back step action. Back step, see that? You turn. Now when you get that back step in, be sure you're on your toe. Don't just flat, because it limits your movement. Okay? You want to be able to just do it stomp. And I remember when I used to teach this to kids, I would say just, it's your stomp foot. And it really is. When the fumikomi means to stomp on something, okay? And that's what you're doing. You're doing this stomp. Now you can start from any position, but generally if you have a slight lead in your hip, so if he has a slight lead with his right foot, right hip, he can get in quicker with that fumikomi. Okay, and as he does that, now watch the hand action. Okay, lift it forward. There you go. See that? See, whoa, that really takes him off balance, doesn't it? Now this time he can put it together with his taiotoshi. See how quick that is? You got that, because that makes it look like, because it is very much what you're doing. When you're coming in, say on the taiotoshi, when you're coming in with that back step, you're lifting him, and by doing that, when you turn, you are now under his center of gravity as well. Let's look at that one more time. So I'm going to have you guys practice this, okay? So watch when he comes in, and as he steps in, he starts to lift. Now, see he's starting to lift everything up and forward. He's creating a nice cavity here, okay? And when he goes ahead and shoots in, he's ready to toss it. Okay, so let's look at it one more time. This is just, let me come once or twice and throw it. See that? See the hips? We get those hips and pull at the same time. We could use any throw. But we're using taiotoshi here because it's a very good example of how you need to get the hips in. I like to do a lot of crossbody or lateral movement stuff here because he's weak on the sides. You know, he's a lot stronger forward. He's even sort of front corners, back corners, but along the side, he doesn't have a whole lot of muscle there to protect him, to stay, you know, for stability. And that's what we're working on here. So that's why we're going to go on the side, and certainly maybe the front or back corner, but certainly the side, more lateral, straight line movement to the side. Trap it. When I do that, I step straight in. Now look at my toe. That's the direction he's going to fall to. Okay, that's the line of the throw right there. Now notice how close we are. I'm not way out here. I'm close in tight. Because when I do this, I'm going to point my toe on my hook. It's good that you're right on there. Okay, he's going to step, and it hits. And it's literally one movement.
Catch, step, and see how he's moving already. Okay? If my elbow is down, it's kind of like a snow shovel. It just moves him over, or what do you call it, a bulldozer. You know, you're pushing the guy along with you. You've already got the arm connected, so now you just have to put something down low and then finish.
And you notice how the toe is pointed down. If you're playing a flexion, you want that toe pointed down. Don't aim with your heel. It's a weak movement. Everything you're basically scooping in. See that? That's it. And if he's a tough guy and he resists, you know, you may have to change to like a kin action, hop action, change direction. Well, let's not work on that quite yet. Let's just get that side lateral, that lateral action going. And again, I always credit Renee Pomerel, who got me in this direction, literally this direction, working off the sides. And it makes a lot of sense. It certainly helped my skills.
Yeah.
And I think it helps a lot of you guys too, the same thing. Okay. One more time and then we'll just wrap it up. Now this right leg, it's going to be cocked, toes pointed, and he's going to be spinning over, and it's going to be just like digging into that Uchimata. It's just ready to go. It's like you're cocking a gun. Work on the Mawari Komi, which means spinning entry. Okay, we call it cross step or crossover step, and you can do it a lot of different forward throws. I mean, a lot of them. And where some people make a mistake, and this is a basic thing, a lot of people, and you put yourself, you're vulnerable if you do this. If I'm starting square with Derek, okay, and this kind of sound, so I'm starting square with Derek, and when I step across, I'm making myself vulnerable by this. So if you do start here, you do step across, make sure it's a strong hip move, and it's a quick one. So you've got to spend very little time here because he's going to sweep. He sees that. So how to compensate for that, how to correct that, don't even go there, is my starting position is key. Just like in any other technique in doing anything, how you start. If you start right, you finish right. Okay. So in this case, instead of squaring with him, when we're working on this, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be over here sideways. So can you see this thing over here? So my left foot is pretty much parallel right in front of his left foot, I should say. So that's my starting position. So instead of starting here, I work out and I'm moving over and starting. And before he adjusts, that's when I hit. Okay? So and I'm on the ball of my foot, and from this position, I can do let's say Uchimata from here. I'll come and spin with Uchimata. You can do Hairi Goshi, you can do Tayatoshi, anything. We're going to do a Seoi-nage again in a minute here. But let's do that with an Uchimata. Let me just do that one Uchimata with somebody. So look at the starting position, his left foot in front of Wyatt's left foot. And when he does that step across, and he shoots in, it allows him to get that nice, clean Uchimata. Okay, I did it slow. Can you just go ahead and do it? So watch how he just does the movement. There you go. So how you start is important. If you start too far in front of him, you may be giving him a foot to sweep. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. That's the big thing here. You start again, left foot to left foot. So you're going to have to adjust. Now remember, when Derek does make that movement over his side here, he's going to have to do it quicker before he can react. So he's starting pretty far over here to his right, in other words, left to left. He's going to make that quick step, so there's no foot sweep action. And he digs, and when he does dig his foot in, when he does lift his leg, when he brings, now this right leg, it's going to be cocked, toes pointed, and he's going to be spinning over, and it's going to be just like digging into that Uchimata. It's just ready to go. It's like you're cocking a gun, and it's ready to go. Okay. Now we can turn that into a pretty nice deep Seoi-nage too, what we were talking about earlier with Josh. So if I'm driving here, I can be getting a left grip, and we're working, and I can be starting here like this, and he's thinking something coming over here because I've got a left grip. Well, I'm going to shoot across. Here's an alley right here. I can shoot across on there, shoot across there. So he's got that left grip. He's starting that left lead, step over. There you go. We got a nice, deep Seoi-nage. You do the Tayatoshi too. It doesn't matter. But just stay with Seoi-nage. Stay with Seoi-nage. So it's a nice Mawari spinning action on that entry. Mawari means to spin or to turn, quickly, and komi is to enter into something. You see, it's a quick spinning entry. We call it crossover step over step, crossover step entry. Let's do that Seoi-nage one more time. It's a left grip, and he leads. Again, he's over here. So here he's got this alleyway here already. So when he does step over, he's going to step over. He doesn't have to step much, and then he's going to keep cocking, and he's ready to load him. Okay? So that's how that looks, and he's basically giving you an alley to enter into and to throw. And that's what it looks like. We can use the crash pads we use on this. We'll finish out with this one tonight. Any questions on it, guys?
Try and get so with the Seoi-nage version, as you're coming through, you really have to drive down and get your hips forward. You don't want to be this way, you want to be there and under. So if you just come in, right, and you go through there like that, you've got no pull and you're going to get picked up. So as you come across and come in, you jam it across, but you also bend your legs. Okay? So when you come down, you're already in a crouch and you're ready to spring forward. And down it goes. So cross, up, down.
Yeah, that's, you know, we call that, you can use it as a stomping step, Fumikomi type action. The stomping step. But that's it, that's as a Seoi, you can do the same way. You can do any type of front throw, like Oguruma, Hamagoshi, Tanatoshi, any forward thing with that Fumikomi stepping action, that cross stepping action. Then come over. Just make sure when you do step, you're light on your feet, you know, you have to spin here, and when you do come over, your toes pointed down, knee up, and it's like a spring.
Stay off your heels.
Stay off your heels. Stay off your heels. Okay? We good? Let's do that. Starting that left lead, step over. You're coming in, you're going to just literally dive in deep like that. See how low he is? And then when he throws, just go ahead and play the roll. Wham. When Derek throws, he wants his head in front of his knees. In other words, his butt's going to be pretty far back, and he's leaning into the direction of the throw, and rather than being just squatting and being upright. Okay, so we're going to show you the wrong way first. Just come in and squat upright, just like you're squatting. Okay, now that could work. Don't get me wrong. Some guys may like that, but if you want to get a lot of more ballistic effect, really drill this guy when you come in. If we come back out, when you're coming in, you're going to just literally dive in deep like that. See how low he is? And then when he throws, just go ahead and play the roll. Wham. See how he stays really round. We talk always about staying round.
I'm just going to attack straight in, pop in with the hip. So I'm just going to attack straight in, pop in with the hip.
And when you turn them, when you throw them over to your right side.
Whichever
If it's the right knee. Yeah, if it's the right knee.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You do that again because, so you're trying your tomo, you know, the spinning tomonagi type thing.
And he's
Trying that.
squared up with me each time. So I better just go straight in the middle, pop in.
Now, if you didn't want to use that as a fail, and I know what you're trying to do is like put the foot on there like you're doing a tomonagi, a spinning tomonagi type
And that
thing.
way it's not, I feel like I'm so far away from the player here. If I get inside, I can bail with that other leg right away.
Put that up there again, like so. You got it right along that line. Okay. Now your particular grip, you're just using a lapel and sleeve grip.
Right.
You can use any type of grip you wanted because you're steering with that right hand over to your right side, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And you're jamming it over. Now, is there any pressure with the right leg, or are you just using that to prop?
I'm pulling the opponent towards me and jamming him on the leg while my other leg goes underneath and brings him into the sacrifice.
Okay, go ahead and toss him from this.
Backside kick, but up until then, it's just kind of like he's holding me.
Right. Once the player's about here, I kind of
Take him over to your right corner. I see. Okay. And you finish right over. Just literally dive in deep like that. See how low he is? And then when he throws, just go ahead and play the roll. Wham.